Hello, my name is Dr. George Mochocki, and this is going to be a quick overview about into Introduction to Business class that you've signed up, and we'll start into Chapter 1. This course is in conjunction with a Blackboard online course you're taking with me, or a face-to-face class. It's only going to be a 10-minute overview, so you know which areas to focus in on by using the software with McGraw Hill Connect, and also all the in the forms within the Blackboard or my face-to-face class. You should do very well. So what's this course going to be about? First of all, we're going to talk about Introduction to Business. Remember, this class, look at this as a smorgasbord. You're going to be talking about marketing, HR. They're all individual chapters within the book, but they are full-blown courses. So don't take this class, when you're taking this class, and so, my goodness, all this information. It's an introduction to business class, an introduction to understand business, or how all the components fit in. So when you are taking a marketing class, when you are taking a what they call a human relations class, or you're taking a management class, you'll see how that component or that discipline fits in within the whole organization. Whether you're a small organization or a large organization, it's irrelevant. You have to be able to, most organizations follow the business model, and we'll be talking about the U.S. capitalistic business model, and we'll be talking about the Chinese business models and other business models as they come into play for a business person when we're looking at going outside our borders within the U.S. Because most businesses, small to large, have to be very understanding in the international component. So so we're going to look at our business maps. I'm going to use the concept maps in here. Remember, click on the concept maps, and in Blackboard it says instructors concept maps, and this is a quick overview. You're always going to get the first layer like this, but we're going to talk about business trends, we're going to talk about different ownership, and these are all different sections. You know what I mean? So when we talk about this, these are all chapters that we're going to be discussing in the class. We're going to be talking about the business management, leadership, empowerment, and we'll be talking about motivation, reward. So your book is broken down into 6 sections, and each section it builds up on this other. Remember, you're slowly building up. If you look at this class, or any class you take that's an introduction to, it's like learning a whole new language. So when you're communicating with another business person, he or she understands that we're communicating utilizing the same words. It means the same meaning. And when I look at different meaning, especially in the American language, you get someone from another culture, and I come up to you and I say, hey, hey, you're hot. If I didn't know, taking hot verbatim, it would mean that I am sweaty, I have a temperature, or I am exhibiting some kind of features that shows that I am overheating. Or it could be because I think you're very attractive or good looking, depending on your sex. All right, so do you see where I'm coming from? So, but in business, when we talk about it, let me go into our next chapter. This is an overview. So when you go into chapter 1, introduction of business, let me go in here. Here we go. When we go into chapter 1, when you click on my concept maps, print them out. My concept maps are a quick overview. Some people like using the PowerPoints, others utilize the concept map. So you can make these larger or smaller. I think I usually give you 2 versions. One version will just blow up at a larger one. So you could put in it. So when you talk about business, I'm talking about what's business. Any activity that seeks to provide goods and services. Remember, any introduction to business class is learning new concepts and vocabulary. This book has close to 500 new concepts vocabulary, which you will learn. Looking through all the way we're going to talk with the forms and everything else, the more you can start using the business terms, the more it gives you credibility when you're talking to another individual within business. So when I'm talking to revenue, I understand what revenue is from a business perspective. It's basically my wages from the business's total money it takes in during a given period. When I talk about expenses, every item it takes to run a business, even my own wages. A lot of small businesses open up and they say, hey, look, I'm making a profit, but they don't incorporate their own expenses, their own wages. You should put yourself costs. So when you take accounting, you say, hey, accounting, your time going to business and working, you should be able to at least show that cost, because that's basically your true cost of running a business. Even though you're paying yourself minimum wage at the beginning. So this way, when you're expanding, you actually know, what did I spend to get my business running? What did I spend for each individual product? Well, how much money is worth? I have to understand my expense to make a profit, okay? And so now instead of going into profit, amount earned and beyond, above and beyond what my expenses are, and salaries, all salaries. After I pay Uncle Sam, I pay everything else. What is left is my profit. What do I do with my profit? There you're going to learn later on. Am I going to use it as dividends? I'm going to use it as reinvestments, or all right. So do I give it back to the 401? What do I do with this money? Do I reinvest it? All this is stuff that businesses, information businesses need. We're going to talk about profit, non-profit. The college is non-profit. It basically means the money it makes from teaching you, it puts back into the teaching. So basically, it keeps on going over. If I look at it, there is an administrative cost, there's an expense and marketing cost that they write off against their profit. But anything else, it's not like they keep the money and they give it out to shareholders. The money goes back into the community, and that's a nonprofit. Same thing with a church. They pay out the administrative costs, have to pay the pastor, the rabbi, the imam, and then they basically, or church or synagogue or a mosque. I'm just generally covering them all. Okay, so when you look at it, it's just a nonprofit organization or organization for battered women. All that is they still have to have an accounting procedure. They still have an administrative cost. They still have expenses. But the money, instead of going back to the shareholders or the investors or the owner, if I'm a small business or I am the business owner, it goes back to the community and to the community or to the program that is funding. Okay. But they still have to have the thing. Goods and services. When you talk about goods and services, the U.S. is coming back from its manufacturing. If you find a business is coming back to the manufacturing, because you can't be an economy that does nothing or it creates nothing but just services each other. After a while, it's like a big Ponzi scheme. You have to make something and sell something. And you can sell our services and our expertise. I understand it, but you still need to have a tangible product. So our economy was going more to services, trying to bring back that tangible portion, so now you have a balance. So if the service sector dries out, you still have a tangible sector that could maintain. Between the two sectors, that's what you have. What you'll find out in economics and other things from a business perspective, you have a balanced society and a balanced economy. Okay, what are trends? You got aging, educated customers doing business 24/7. All that means I got an online section on there, so I could do open 24/7. Okay, losing time and money, risk from a business that have to take a risk, new ventures, everything else. Some businesses are like Apple is going forward. You always come up with new ideas, and other businesses are following afterwards, where they come into the business cycle that you'll learn. Factors of production, this is economics. So you figure if I have land, labor, capital, and everything else, which we all basically have in the U.S., and we could keep all this for standard of living, our taxes are reasonable, basically you'll create investment and bring in new investors into the society and keep a stable economic growth. Okay, so you have society, look at aging income. These are not only my customers, these are also my employees coming in. Economics, legal, you have Obamacare or healthcare coming in. How's that going to affect the business? How's it going to affect my bottom line? I have competition, competitive. How do I become more productive? Because the cost is down, people, the economy is not fully functional, for lack of better words. It's growing at a very slow pace. People are very cautious with their money. They're looking for a bargain. I'll give them a bargain, but I'm just barely making it. So how do I become more competitive and keep my profit so I have more profit? So remember, if I could reduce my expenses, that means I have more profit, and I could do a lot of things that are more competitive. I either could lower my price, get more customers at a lower price, or keep my price stable, and then basically invest in the technology to give me that profitability to either make my product faster or more productive or more effective, efficient that you're going to find out in the business. Diverse workforce. My workforce should mirror what my customer base are, and so you have to look at the diverse workforce. They think differently than I do, but that's what makes it better. I'm not talking about affirmative action. If I have a diverse workforce that mirrors my population, if I am working in a predominant Hispanic environment, even as a white or Caucasian, Polish immigrant in here, I may not understand Hispanic completely as other Hispanics. And there's so I hire Hispanics that work in there, so they understand their culture. I understand the business aspect, but now how do I present my business and present my product and my service to that culture, to that demographics, by how they would accept it and what works well for them. What I'm doing internally within the United States, within my local geographic, or even if I go to Indiana, or if I go outside the U.S. and go to different countries, I have to understand their culture, and I have to understand all these rules and regulations, and how do they take in revenue, what's their taxes, what's their currencies, what's their the regulations, and so when you're really looking at it, and if I'm going So if I'm looking at this course right now, Intro to Business, and everything else you're going to learn in this class, it's everything that you know, understand how business functions. A lot of definitions, a lot of vocabulary. There's no way around it. It's like learning Spanish, learning Polish, you're learning any language you want. But when you think about it, once you understand the language, now I'm communicating. And so the more you could utilize the words, the vocab in your communications, within the forums, when talking to other people, that's how you start bringing your language. That's how you grow it in business, and that's how other business people see you. Okay, so remember, this is the first course. Utilize this. Use the Blackboard. Use the forums. Use the software that's provided in my Blackboard courses. Utilize this concept map. Write all this information that you want in here, on here, and use the PowerPoints. And trust me, you'll learn just as much as my face-to-face class or on my online class by utilizing technology, and everything else is to move it from your what do you call it, from just knowing it into the long-term memory. Again, my name is Dr. George Mochocki, and this is Introduction to Business Chapter 1. Thank you very much. Bye.